have the CC, Wajir County, none other than Waziri Farah.
We pray in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praise is to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the most compassionate, the most merciful, Master of the day of judgment. You alone we worship, and you alone we ask for help. Guide us to the straight path, the path of those you have blessed, not the path of those who earned your wrath, nor those who have gone astray. Amen.
Can we appreciate our two leaders in prayer? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, you may have your seats. Thank you. Like I said, welcome to the launch of the National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan, coming to you live from the KICC. Today is a day of celebration, it's a day of good news, it's a day that will mean a lot in the irrigation sector here in Kenya. Now, because of that, I would just like to request us to do something very simple. Now, something does not happen if there is no picture or no post to tell us that it actually happened. So because we're living in a digital age, ladies and gentlemen, I know you have smartphones with you. Kindly, if you can indulge me, remove your phones, take a selfie with your neighbor, the person next to you, take a selfie. If they're not smiling, kindly encourage them. You look good when you smile, right? So let's take a photo and be sure to share it within your circles on your various social media platforms, whether Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, whether Instagram, and for the young at heart, TikTok is there as well. Now, be sure to use our hashtags. Today, we are using hashtag invest in irrigation, hashtag revolutionizing irrigation, hashtag NISIPKE. So let's just take 30 seconds to do that. Wow. Wow, amazing. This side, you only have 2 phones. We shall intervene. We shall intervene. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is amazing. Now, as I mentioned, today is a celebration. It is a new dawn. And true to the Kenyan spirit, we cannot usher in a new dawn without song and dance. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for our first entertainment of the day? Put your hands together for the musical stylings of Juma and Kayamba Africa.
This is a national song. Please be upstanding and help me to sing. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda. Kenya yetu tunayoipenda. Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka. Twajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka. Kenya nchi yenye baraka. Kenya makao yetu ni nchi ya usalama, kamwe hatutaiacha. Kenya makao yetu ni nchi ya usalama, kamwe hatutaiacha. Kamwe hatutaiacha. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kupenda haki kwa watu wote. Anayependa Kenya ni yule mwenye kupenda haki kwa watu wote. Haki kwa watu wote. Ukipenda Kenya ujitenge na mambo yenye kuvunja amani.
matata Kenya.
Wapi vigelegele na shangwe ya nchi yetu? Haya, tuimbe pamoja tafadhali. Tuimbe pamoja, twende namna hii.
Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, nchi yenye upendo, hatutaiacha daima na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele na milele. Kenya kipenzi chetu, hatutaiacha milele na milele na milele.
Tujipigie makofi tafadhali.
Exercise has already bore fruit, because I am informed that we are already trending at #1 on X. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. The hashtag is NISIP Launch. NISIP Launch. That is the hashtag that we are using today. Now, with that out of the way, time now to enter into the next section of this time. And to take us through this is none other than a man you know, you love, a celebrated individual who, according to me, perhaps is the second most traveled Kenyan after our dear president. Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from a TV screen near you, the one, the only Mr. Alex Chamwada, OGW MBS. Round of applause.
Asanteni sana, karibuni tena. Yes, my name is Alex Chamwada, and so far so good. I can see smiles here and feel at home. Look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor, feel at home. Look at your neighbor. Great. Again, remember, we are live on NTV. We are live on Chams Media platforms, including Chams Media Facebook and Chams Media YouTube. And our hashtag is NISIP Launch. I know you will hear quite a bit of my voice, so I wouldn't want to go into giving you many words. But ladies and gentlemen, at this juncture, allow me to introduce Principal Secretary, State Department for Irrigation, CPA, Ephantas Kimodho. Tupigie makofi. Yeah, he's going to give us welcoming remarks and tell us why we are here and what NISIP is all about. Makofi tena. Karibu, karibu. Yeah.
Our Cabinet Secretary, Engineer Eric Muga, His Excellency, the Governor of Turkana County, Jeremiah Lomokurai, the Director and Chief Executive of Equity, Dr. James Mwangi, immediate President of Alliance for Green Revolution in Africa, Dr. Agnes Kalibata, the Global Director for World Bank Water Global Practice, Mr. Saroj, and the Deputy Ambassador, Embassy Federation of Germany of Kenya, Mr. Alexander Felix. And all our dignitaries with us here today, the State Department of Irrigation, Irrigation Secretary, and the State Department of Irrigation, the Board of Directors, Chairman, Board of Directors of National Irrigation Authority, the Board of Directors of National Water Harvesting, and all the dignitaries with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you today as we come again at KICC to launch the National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan. This is a plan that aspires to put an additional 1 million acres under irrigation. The last few days, a few people have challenged us. Do we really have enough water in the country to put an additional 1 million acres? But the answer to that has been yes. From the National Water Master Plan 2030, we show that Kenya has a potential of putting at least 3.4 million acres under irrigation using water harvesting, surface water, and groundwater. But the challenge you have in the country is not a physical water shortage, it's an economic water shortage. And that's why we need a plan to unlock that. This plan will take us to at least 50% of our irrigation potential. Currently, the country is at 22%, having a total coverage of 747 acres at the moment. And of that, 83,000 acres have been done in the last 2 years. Again, another challenge came. If this plan aspires to put 1 million acres in 10 years, that on a quick mathematics, that shows you we need to put 100,000 acres. So if we've been doing 40,000, that means we need to accelerate investments more, probably by 2.5, for us to be able to get to that target. But in the plan, in the first 2 years, we're also being very realistic. In the first 2 years, our focus will be more on doing rehabilitation on already the existing plants. Out of the 747, 60% of it has been utilized well, but we still need to do something on the balance. So the plan, the first 2 years, as you're building infrastructure and you're organizing investments for building water security, we'll be doing the rehabilitation. But in the plan, we are sure within the next 10 years, we should be able to have covered that. And the plan, from the 83,000 acres that we've covered in the last 2 years, CS, I'm happy to report to you that that has also resulted, not just irrigation infrastructure, it has resulted to increase in production. Key thing being the rice value chain, which the last 2 years, our baseline was 102,000 metric tons. Currently, as we talk, we have increased that by over 50%. We are currently at now 293,000 metric tons. And the plan, in the plan itself, we intend to increase that from 293 to 440,000 metric tons. And by 2032, we intend to bring that up to 1 million metric tons. But there are many other value chains the plan is actually supporting. When we talk about the way the plan has been designed, it has been designed to be implemented in 5 pathways. One of the first pathways is called fleet. This is where we are talking about a smallholder farmer who has between 0.5 to 2 acres. Mainly, most of them do staple food, and others do high-value crops. In that plan of the fleet, under fleet, we intend to put at least 350,000 acres under irrigation. The other pathway that we have in the plan is public irrigation schemes, where mostly what we'll be doing in that is to enhance and do rehabilitation, but also there'll be an additional 10,000 acres put under irrigation. Then we have what we call corporate agriculture. Here, you may all recall, most of you must have heard about Galana Kulalu. That project, one of the challenges of implementation was actually water security. But now, this time round, is one of the plans that we have under implementation. We target to put at least an additional 200,000 acres by putting a dam, which will be having approximately 350,000 cubic meter, or 350 million cubic liters. Then the other pathway that you're talking about is ASAL. And we're happy to have our governor from Turkana here with us here today, who is actually one of the beneficiaries of some of the program we are doing under the ASAL. Here, our focus mainly is to build on water infrastructure. In Turkana, we already, together with the government of Germany, we are implementing a program called drought resilience. It's mainly in Turkana and Marsabit. Also, as a State Department, we are also currently doing one of the biggest water plants in Wajir County, which will be breaking ground very soon. So that is the 4th pathway. So this plan also intends to unlock the potential of our ASAL. As you know, 80% of our country is actually an ASAL, but with water, another 80% of that can actually be put to production. And so this plan has aspiration of unlocking the potential of our Northern Eastern. And lastly, the plan has a community irrigation scheme where we intend to revamp the already existing community irrigation schemes and also do an additional. Of the 747,000 acres, the biggest potential or the biggest area under irrigation is actually under the community, covering around 453,000 acres. In that, we are happy to have Dr. James Mwangi here with us today, who, among the many community irrigation schemes that we've done, we've worked together on 20, together with KFW, in a model we call blended finance, where the farmer contributes 10%, the bank gives a loan of 40%, and the government, together with the development partner, in this case, KfW through the German government, gives another 50%. This has proven to be very effective in that where we've done those schemes, the productivity has been way much beyond compared to the others. It has also led to a lot of sustainability because farmers are keen on operational maintenance and efficiency. The plan will also mean this will increase the area under coverage because when government funds 50% as opposed to 100%, we'll be able to get more than double. So today, we have some few videos. We have some 5 videos, which will, just 1 minute video, which will show you the various pathways which I've just mentioned. And lastly, we have a video that shows you what some Kenyans in diaspora are doing back here at home. So welcome as we watch these videos. Sorry for the technical tech issues. So our Gen Zs in the house, hopefully, yesterday we did a test run. There was a video. So okay, fine. So as I try and fix the sound, maybe I'll just mention the plan also has a cost element. The plan has been costed at 598.
Uptake by individuals and small groups of farmers. This initiative is known as Farmer-Led Irrigation Development. It targets farmers with 0.5 hectares to 2 hectares of land. Under the Farmer-Led Irrigation Development, NISIP seeks to increase the acreage under irrigation through facilitation of irrigation uptake by individuals and small groups of farmers. This initiative is known as Farmer-Led Irrigation Development. It targets farmers with 0.5 hectares to 2 hectares of land. Under this initiative, NISIP seeks to mitigate the main constraints, which include financial, technical, knowledge, and access to markets through innovative financing solutions, including reducing the cost of irrigation equipment for individuals and small groups. This will be achieved through government capital cost support, credit risk reduction measures to increase willingness of microfinance institutions, SACCOs, and commercial and retail banks to increase the number of loans and the ceiling loan amount typically set for smallholder farmers by reducing their lending exposure. The other intervention is enacting standardization and compliance measures for solar pumped and irrigation application technologies to ensure quality. The State Department for Irrigation and county governments will play a lead role in strengthening knowledge generation, awareness, and uptake by supporting irrigation research and training institutions to develop technical innovations. Under this pathway, the government is tasked to strengthen county irrigation development units, undertake preparatory technical assessments, formulate communication strategies and training packages, and where limiting, invest in water storage and shallow well development. Under the high-performing public schemes, NESIP targets to optimize service delivery in public schemes by improving governance, management, and technology to achieve operational and financial sustainability through high-performing irrigation service delivery. High-performing irrigation service delivery will ensure that farmers have access to adequate, reliable, and equitable water supply for production, which is a critical contribution to farm enterprise profitability, thereby optimizing a target 69,000 acres under irrigation and expanding the irrigation acreage by a further 10,000 acres. Enabling interventions and solutions to this pathway include engaging farmers in contract farming to increase market linkages in collaboration with county governments, and supporting irrigation water users associations to mobilize participation in irrigated agriculture. There is also technology intervention and farmer training. The potential funding mechanisms to support this pathway include national and county governments, international financial institutions, non-governmental organizations, farmer contributions, user operation and maintenance fees, loans from commercial banks, and financing tools and mechanisms which include challenge funds, government grants, performance and result-based financing, and commercial loans. This pathway is the backbone of county aggregation and industrial parks. Initiatives aims at fostering economic growth and industrialization within counties by creating hubs for value addition and supporting local businesses. Under the enabled corporate agribusiness pathway, NESIP seeks to increase the acreage under irrigation through promoting commercially oriented irrigation projects undertaken independently by the private parties or jointly with government and communities by scaling up corporate and commercial investments in irrigated agriculture. NESIP targets to push for the implementation of large commercial investments on expansive tracts of land that would otherwise have remained unproductive. The State Department for Irrigation and its agencies aim to secure access to land and infrastructure for private investment. Mechanization and automation are ideal for this initiative in order to bring down cost of production. This initiative is also anchored on agro-processing and manufacturing, which will lead to increased income, food security, and reduced cost of living. Under this pathway, different sectors have definitive roles, with the National Treasury through the Public-Private Partnership Directorate bearing responsibility for development of the public-private partnership strategies, policies, and frameworks for all large-scale projects, acting as the supervisory and guiding agency for the structuring, evaluation, and closure of public-private partnership projects. The Ministry of Land, Public Works, Housing, and Urban Development is to come on board as the lead agency in undertaking of land tenure reforms to facilitate effective designation and development of land under large-scale irrigation. Private parties will be responsible for financing, implementing, and operationalization of the projects. Under the revitalized irrigation in arid and semi-arid lands, NESIP seeks to put an additional acreage under irrigation and optimize agricultural water use by providing adequate, reliable, and safe quality water to support irrigation development in ASAL regions. This will in turn ensure food and fodder production in vulnerable pastoralist communities. The agricultural water and natural resource interventions needed to support agricultural, livestock, marketing, and financial efforts in ASAL regions are a high national priority. Under this pathway, focus will be on climate financing and water harvesting. When it rains in these regions, find floods everywhere, and this water goes to waste. This water can be harvested into lagers, community and household water pans for irrigation. Floods can be changed into opportunities for resilience in ASAL regions. These interventions complement other agricultural responses, such as the introduction of drought-tolerant crops, investment in livestock value chain development, the establishment of fodder reserves, and financial initiatives for farmers and small enterprises. Benefits to strengthen community-based irrigation schemes. Under the Maximized Community Scheme, NISIP seeks to enhance community-based irrigation for maximized benefits to strengthen community-based irrigation schemes, management and production through an integrated organizational and agricultural enterprise development effort. Community-based irrigation schemes are owned and managed by individual farmers or groups who share an irrigation facility and a different set of challenges from public schemes requiring unique responses. Community schemes are managed through irrigation water users associations, cooperatives or self-help groups with various levels of legal formalization and organization functionality. Scheme sizes range from 100 to 3,000 acres. There are 3 necessary interventions outlined in NISIP to turn around performance on the existing community-based irrigation schemes. That is, the setup of a new legal compliant irrigation water users association, participative performance diagnostic and action planning, and infrastructure investment in the minimum of technical functionality to enable service delivery. Alongside these irrigation service transformation actions, a 4th step is to mobilize support from county and ministry extension teams and programs to ensure farm enterprise success. NISIP also seeks to connect farmers to markets, thereby creating linkages and guaranteed income. It intends to involve counties in supporting irrigation through county irrigation development units and support county aggregation and industrial parks. He is living in the US, lakini hajasahau nyumbani. He is practicing irrigation on his 20-acre farm in Masumba location, Kibwezi West constituency, Makueni County. Dr. Aquilas Muteti.
I have a lot of interests back home because, of course, Kenya is home. I realized I needed to do something because agriculture is the mainstay of our country. And I decided to venture into fruit farming. My citrus occupies about 12 acres and about 5 or so acres of ash avocado trees. I also, of course, do some quick horticulturals, tomatoes once in a while, kale. I also have Grand 9 bananas. Because of irrigation, we're able to produce, like if we plant corn, for example, and the rains don't make it, we're able to irrigate and get through the season and get our crop ready for the community. We have a board and we get water from there. I've invested in solar. It has helped me and provide employment to my friends out here in diaspora. It doesn't matter where you are in diaspora. Let's go back and till the land. Let's do stuff that is going to support our nation to grow.
Congratulations to Aquilas Muteti, all the way in the US, but producing this back home. It can be done.
Yes, those are the 5 investment pathways. Just as it has ended, you can see it's true, it can be done. Today we are happy to have almost all the stakeholders in the room. We have a national government, we have the county government, we have our development partners, quite a number of them. We have private sector players, we have our banks here, and also today we also have the CEO for NCBA, Bwana Eric, who is here with us also today. We have our farmers here. We have our aggregators as well. So who will help us in de-risking the market and helping us get market linkages. So the plan, which you've seen, actually is not a plan, but actually part of it is actually being implemented. The whole aim of NISIP is to accelerate this and actualize the target acreage that we've put. The plan has an estimated cost of 598 billion. Of the 598 billion, 40% or approximately 40% will be funded by the government and the development partners. The 60% of it will mainly be funded by private sector and climate funding. The funding for the government will mainly go towards de-risking and catalyzing the private capital. More or less that example I gave earlier, where the government builds the main infrastructure, and the part of it invests like 50%, then the other 40% and 10%, there's a blended finance mechanism between the banks and the farmer. That's one of the pathways that finance strategies that this plan envisages to have. From this plan, we also, the other thing that the government will mainly be doing is also creating things like credit mechanism funds, so that we can be able to continually risk and make the farmer more bankable. So we are up for good things. So the call to action is to everyone who is here with us here today. We call you, let's come together and build a food secure country and fight climate change. At the same time, create job opportunities for the future generation. Asanteni sana.
Makofi tena kwa Bwana PS. Thank you. I think we are now cruising. I think my first officer informs me we are now at cruise level, you know, and but we are not on autopilot. Next session will be a panel discussion, but in order to give our panelists time to just go through the notes and prepare, we'll have another short interlude of entertainment. Juma Odemba and Kayamba Africa, if you are around. I'm told we need a short break so that we can give our panelists time to prepare and get their notes together. Let's clap for ourselves again. I think so far so good. Well, first officer, I think Kayamba may not be ready, so we'll move into the next session. Michael. NISIP launch, share a photo, keep the conversation going, and the keywords are revolutionizing irrigation. So Nzonzo, Daniel, if you're around, you could assist me in the arrangement so that we can have our panelists come in front. We'll have that entertainment later on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the meat. We are going into the gist of this discussion, and allow me to read these profiles. I'll be very brief. So if we can have the profile of our first panelist. the Cabinet Secretary. If we can have the graphics kindly, so that as I read, we can relate with the profile of our first panelist. As the graphics come, asanteni sana. Our first panelist is CS Engineer Eric Muga, and Engineer Eric Muga is the youngest Cabinet Secretary for Water, Sanitation and Irrigation in Kenya history. We call him our Gen Z Cabinet Secretary. Tupigie makofi. And he has a solid background in civil engineering. He's a civil engineer and a wealth of experience in water resource management, representing a new wave of young technocrats in that sector. Until his nomination, Muga served as a project engineer at Kilifi Mariakani Water and Sewerage Company Limited in Kilifi County. His role involved the design and review of water sanitation works. He's registered with the Engineers Board of Kenya, EBK, and the Institution of Engineers of Kenya. Tumpigie makofi. Go through the profiles. So next, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Agnes Kalibata is immediate President, Alliance for a Green Revolution in Africa, AGRA, from 2014 to 2025. Rwanda Minister for Agriculture and Animal Resources from 2008 to 2014. And during her tenure, the ministry budget grew from 10 million US dollars to over 150 million US dollars. During her tenure, Rwanda became the first country to sign a compact under the Comprehensive Africa Agriculture Development Program. Dr. Kalibata served as the special envoy of the UN Secretary General for the 2021 period, and she's award winner among 100 most reputable Africans. Tumpigie makofi. Yeah. And then next, allow me to introduce the Governor of Turkana County, His Excellency Jeremiah Lomurkai. And I'm very excited to meet Governor Lomurkai. We've done quite a bit together with the county government of Turkana in highlighting irrigation projects in Turkana County. And the governor Lomurkai was Member of Parliament for Loima constituency from August 21, 2017 up to 25 August 2022. And the governor is the second governor of the county government of Turkana. The governor previously served as the Member of Parliament of Loima, as I indicated there. He holds a Bachelor of Arts in Counseling from the Kenya Methodist University, Kenya Methodist University. He is a dynamic leader with a passion for community development. His commitment to accountability and transparency in the management of public resources has earned him respect from his constituents. Tumpigie makofi. Sorry. So far, so good. Allow me to introduce the next panelist, who is my namesake, Mr. Alexander Fiale. And Alexander was Deputy Head of Mission, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany He's the Deputy Head of Mission, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany in Kenya. This is from 2023. From 2022 to 2023, he was Deputy Head of Political Department, Embassy of the Federal Republic of Germany, Moscow. And from 2021 to 2022, he was Deputy Head of Department for Security of Diplomatic and Consular Missions Abroad, Federal Foreign Office, Berlin. From 2018 to 2021, Training Director, Academy of German Foreign Office. Let's give him a hearty welcome once again. Great. So far, so good. Sure you are preparing your notes. It's gonna be a very interesting discussion here. Dr. James Mwangi, CBS. Dr. James Mwangi is Group Managing Director and CEO, Equity Group Holdings, PLC, and Executive Chairman, Equity Group Foundation. Dr. Mwangi is one of Africa's most renowned thought leaders, a disruptive entrepreneur and philanthropist. He is a certified international retail banker, and he holds 5 honorary doctorate degrees. Dr. Mwangi is the inaugural chancellor of the Open University of Kenya and most recent past chancellor of Meru University College of Science and Technology in Kenya. Let's give him a hearty clap. Great. Finally, our next panelist is Mr. Saroj Kumar. Saroj is the Global Director for the World Bank Group's Water Global Practice, GP. In 2005, he was Senior Infrastructure Specialist in the Sustainable Development Network of World Bank, that is in 2005. And in 1990 to 2005, Indian Administrative Service, Government of India, and United Nations agencies, 1999 to 2004 as Senior Executive. Before this appointment, Mr. Kumar was World Bank's Regional Director of the Middle East Development based in Beirut. Let's give him a hearty clap. To move this before we proceed. Okay, this is working. Thank you. We are moving on well, and I can see you are quite attentive once again. Let's give ourselves again a hearty clap. Let's clap for ourselves. So far, so good, and let's clap for our panelists. We have a very rich panel here, and allow me to welcome you once again. Thank you. I believe we are going to make this quite fruitful. And I'll begin with the Cabinet Secretary, Engineer Muga. Now, the government has identified agricultural transformation as a key pillar to lower the cost of living and create jobs, increase exports, improve climate resilience, and transform people's lives. So while we launch this initiative, the initiative, and the keyword is irrigation revolution. So how is this initiative, gonna compound this and help us to achieve these visions?
Thank you so much. The irrigation revolution is based on the better plan, and also it is based on the irrigation policy of this country, whereby agricultural transformation and over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture has for too long plagued this country. And we need to be deliberate for us to uplift the lives of millions of those people at the bottom of the pyramid by ensuring that we provide them with the required water, modernize their irrigation plants, build capacity, and ultimately provide them with a platform to do farming more than 2 seasons a year. This cannot happen without concerted efforts from all of us, because the plan gives a blueprint, a plan for us to actually follow and ensure that the farmers that we have get value for their money. Irrigation enables farmers to do high value yields, and high value yields means more money to the people. As we sit here, there has been low investment in the irrigation sector. There has been different players in the irrigation sector without a focus, without a converging agenda. So NISIP also cures that problem, whereby there's a program and there's a system. So there is coherence. There is minimized duplication, because county governments and national government have to work in harmony. So NISIP is that blueprint, so that when counties invest and national government invest, we invest in harmony. We are also sourcing for development partners. Development partners come in to give us an edge, especially in areas that are profitable to the market, so that the national government and the county governments can focus in those areas where it's not so much profitability. So NISIP also targets that, to attract blended financing from our development partners and also our banks and other private players in the irrigation sector. These are some of the things that NISIP is actually looking into and trying to resolve. And finally, let us not forget that this is a very ambitious plan. It's a 10-year plan whereby cutting across all stakeholders will be called upon. Everyone is a cog in that machine. So NISIP is the first step in, I think, more than 60 years for us as a country to try and organize our irrigation, which is a very, very good step to take. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Waziri. And you've said very well, the government is the driver, but kindly highlight who are the other key players that will make this happen and what's their role briefly.
Definitely, the government provides policy, the overarching framework. The other players is the county governments, of course, that is part of government. We have development partners, we have World Bank, KFW. Actually, World Bank has really supported us in development of this, in organizing things. I think it is a first in the entire East Africa. We also have blended financing. That is where the commercial banks or the credit facilities work hand in hand with the farmers to come up with a system whereby they find credit, but payment is structured in such a way that the farmer pays upon production. These are some of the things we are looking at. We also have the actual farmers. This is a way to dignify the livelihoods of our farmers. And most farming in Kenya is done, especially on community-based and small-scale farming, is done by our women. It is a route for the vulnerable people to feel part and parcel of the conversation. Let us not also forget NGOs that actually are part of the program. They do model farms where other farmers come to learn. That is a key cog also in this conversation. And finally, the young people, because there was a study I saw that the average age of a farmer, of a serious farmer, is 61 years in the country. So the young people have to be part of this conversation. The young people are tech savvy. They are willing to risk as long as there's a return. And let us not forget, our greatest capital right now is the youth, not only in Kenya, but also in Africa. So this is an avenue for us to be involved and to be part and parcel, to showcase our ingenuity, to showcase our innovation, and to actually become part and tell the young people that agriculture through irrigation is also a livelihood, means of a livelihood. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Waziri. I'll move to Dr. Mwangi. One of the incentives that can support this is financing. And from experience, I think banks, the commercial lenders, probably find this area risky. Maybe I'm wrong. And there are other traditional methods of financing. But from where you sit, Dr. Mwangi, so how can the financing partners come in to support this?
Thank you very much, Alex. I think it is true agriculture is regarded as a risky sector, and it's simply because it is highly dependent on rain for production of the crop. So with environmental changes, climate change, we're seeing that rain-fed agriculture has ceased to be reliable and dependable, increasing risk. The second risk that has held agriculture at a high risk level is productivity in our agriculture. If you compare productivity in the agricultural sector, particularly the small-scale farms, with the commercial farms and global productivity, our productivity is about a sixth to an eighth. Yet, our farmers operate in the same market. They buy inputs at the same market with the global farmers, with the commercial farmers. So they are disadvantaged. The third cause of risk is capacity. Most of our farmers are transiting from peasantry farming to agribusinesses. The risk of capacity, knowledge, has really held that sector. However, the government has come forward to seek partnership such that it's no longer just government, it's the private sector, private capital, multilateral, philanthropists, so that we could be able to mitigate these risks. The solution, to a great extent, has become blended finance, other than commercial finance. So the government chips in to reduce the risk of capacity through extension services. They educate the farmers, they transform the farmers from knowledge. The government comes in to contribute to the cost of infrastructure, whether it's the commercial private sector comes to build the value chains and to provide commercial financing, while multilateral and philanthropists bring either grant capital or long-term funding. And that blended finance have made it possible not only to overcome the three risks, but to be able to scale.
Tired of endless scrolling? Say goodbye to the chaos. Introducing the all-new Business Daily website. Experience seamless navigation. Immerse yourself in a world of more videos and more podcasts. Discover more with our enhanced home pages. Engage like never before with our interactive tools. Join us and elevate your reading experience today. Business Daily. More possibilities.
Great rebound.
Siakam, don't sit down the lane. Behind the back to Siakam, who lays it in.
D'Angelo Russell's done a lot of positive things since he's come back to the Nets.
The Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, the Central Rift Valley Waterworks Development Agency, the Tana Waterworks Development Agency, along with Laikipia and Nyeri County governments and other players in the sector, invites you to this year's World Water Day celebrations on 22nd March 2025 at St. Joseph Thigithi Boys, Laikipia County. Themed Glacier Preservation, we will mark the day with the launch of the Thigithi Humuka Water Supply Project Phase 2, improving access to clean water for local communities. Join us for a day of inspiration as we collaborate to safeguard our freshwater resources and create a sustainable future for the environment. Catch the event live on NTV this Saturday, 22nd March 2025 from 10 a.m.
Looking for some mehe faster than you can say spill the tea? Well, I've got you covered.
Con entertainment, you know, we already got the vibe. So I got the beat, my moves ni kwako.
Join us for Chocha where the games are wild. Kiss my dam, right? Gashagwa, Kindiki, Sakaja. And of course, kwa na story inspiring ama ngoma noma, send in tutakuwakilisha kama kawa kama dawa. Catch Beats and Buzz only on NTV. Because it's gonna be mad and crazy.
For fast relief of strong pain, like headache, toothache, and muscle pain. And I am finally released from pain and ready to be there for those who need me. Try Panadol Extra for fast and effective relief from strong pain.
This very important meeting or ceremony. I think Turkana County is one county that is not really semi-arid. We are purely arid. And it's a county that faces a lot of challenges, more than any other county in Kenya. I think water is our main issue. Water is a precious commodity to people of Turkana County and to the people in the northern part of Kenya. So the scarcity of water can be solved by the Department of Irrigation through proper utilization or management of water resources in the country. If the Irrigation Department or even the Agriculture Department, Livestock Department and the Water Departments bring the efforts together and focus on the drilling of water along the riverines and also tapping of water, because we have two main rivers, permanent rivers in Turkana County. We have River Kerio and River Takwel. All of them flow throughout the year. What we see is untapped or poor storages of water flowing throughout the year. So it will be a very serious obligation to those various departments. Here I do not really want to zero out on the Irrigation Department, There are so many departments or ministries that I feel if they pull their effort together and focus on food production on the northern part of Kenya, drill water, because in Turkana County we are blessed with water underground. But sometimes even in 3 years, we don't receive rain. That means we need to actually exploit the water underground so that we can irrigate our land. Let us utilize the flowing waters of those permanent rivers to irrigate our lands. Let us put our communities, because we rely on rainfall and also a bit of irrigated land. So if that water is tapped and then the sprinkler or the drip irrigation systems are used prudently along the riverines as we expand the acreage of lands that we really want to irrigate, then our communities will actually rely highly on availability of food as the country really targets. Basically, as a governor of Turkana County, we've injected enough money into agriculture. I think recently when the Senate team visited Turkana County, the committee in charge of devolution, we took them to places such as the Kangalita irrigation scheme. I think the director in charge of NIA knows where Kangalita irrigation scheme or Kablokor, Morolem, we have the Katilu, the famous Katilu, the popular Takwel irrigation scheme. They saw what we have done as a county. We have tapped water from River Takwel and it's flowing, but we are needed really to take it forward so that we get a good number of farmers utilizing the land, because Turkana County has enough land. What we need is support from the ministry, from the partners, and I want to thank the partners because they remain our main partners. Majorly the World Bank, the Germany embassy, the Netherlands, the US embassy, most of them have really supported us to do irrigation. So there was a very serious admiration from the Senate that if this is what you are going to do in the next remaining years in your office, then you are going to change the lives of the people of Turkana County, because they will be able to produce their own food than really rely on food really supplied by the donors in terms of foodstuffs. I think we also have the highest population of the youth who are highly unemployed. We are trying really to create more land for them and also try to capacity build them so that they refocus, not really look into getting the employment from the county, but also get into the private sector. Try to think or rethink on how best you can be innovative to use your own mind so that you can produce food that can feed your family. I think basically that is what we are doing as a county. We've tapped the water in various areas that do not really have even the permanent rivers. We go to areas in Turkana North, which is a very vast area. We go to areas of Turkana West, Lokopoto areas. We have Turkana County has very fertile land. Water remains an issue. We've tried really to create more dams, not really mega dams, but some small dams and also water pans that we can use actually to irrigate our land.
Very well, Governor, and indeed agriculture is a devolved function of government. Finally, in a brief, I think many have heard of there was potential for underground water in Turkana. You've talked about water harvesting, yes, but where are we? Is it going to happen? Is there enough underground water in Turkana County?
Okay, we have more than 7 aquifers in Turkana County. But the country is really focusing on the Lotikipi, which they say it can supply water to the entire country for more than 70 years. But I see that is long term. We have Napu Aquiva, which KVDA tried really to support us. The county government did something. If we inject resources into that fresh water aquifer, and that one is not really far from our offices, Turkana headquarters, we will irrigate a lot of land using that fresh water aquifer that is available. And then you go to Kalapata, there is another one. Go to areas in Turkana North, such as areas, we have many aquifers in Turkana County. So the only thing we need is support to exploit so that we tap the water underground, then put it into irrigation use. So basically, we've not really tapped we have not utilized those aquifers. And then the Lotikipi one, I think the president has really been keen on the Lotikipi aquifer because it has a lot of water, but with very high salinity rate. I think that is what poses a challenge in really trying to invest money so that we get that water now, not really take to the entire country first, but we start getting to Ghana before we get to other parts of the country.
Thank you so much. Interesting insights there. Let's move to Agnes. And this, yours is long, that you've recently led AGRA's push for a green revolution in Africa and many other high-impact missions to transform agriculture on the continent. From where you sit, considering the post-Malabo agenda and observing these high and fresh ambitions in Kenya with NISIP, and having just left your regional position where you led AGRA in transforming small-scale agriculture, what key lessons on transforming irrigation initiatives in sub-Saharan Africa or beyond can we draw from?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you for the question. I think the opportunity that the post-Marabu declaration, the CADAP agenda provides is a huge opportunity for cooperation, for engaging on issues that we share as countries. So first of all, the ambition that is laid in there is critical for the minister who is leading on irrigation to go back to his government and be able to unlock resources, because that's the president's commitment to his country. So when you look at the cooperation that we need to build on, there are opportunities for regional partnerships. If you ask the World Bank, they will tell you they have regional pots of money that you can tap into to do irrigation from a regional perspective. That is one pot of money that is available to you, Minister, but you probably haven't tapped into it. So what partnership can you build with Uganda? What partnership can you build with your other neighbors to tap into that regional irrigation capacity so you increase your area under irrigation? But more importantly, what then do you do between these countries when it comes to understand food balance sheets? How much food do you have? And dealing with export bans. These are all things that are very critical to how we deal with food security in our countries and needs regional cooperation for us to be able to engage. From a food security perspective, I think for me the biggest lesson has been that we must invest in food baskets. There are not so many areas that have the biggest potential for irrigation. So if we secure those potentials for irrigation, and some countries do that, then you know that within your borders, you actually have a certain level of food security. The other way then is irrigation, small-scale irrigation, as was presented here, then has very good models that we can work with Equity Bank, with others, to make it possible for farmers to engage in irrigation. But really securing the food basket of the country is very critical. And again, those would be a lot of areas. The other part that I see a number of countries do, where I've seen one of the biggest successes, is securing the market. And I think James was talking about it earlier, securing markets for farmers. And again, there are not so many ways of thinking about this. The most important part is developing the private sector. And AGRA has a number of models around how the private sector can engage on platforms that allow seed producers, fertilizer businesses, people that are anchor buyers and businesses that are actually off-taking from farmers to be part of an ecosystem that delivers value for the farmer. It's really, really critical that that market part is secured. In Ghana, for example, I'm going to say this anyway, the government has made sure that if you are a businessman that is importing rice, 30% of the rice you put on the market must be from local farmers. Before you get an import permit, you must buy 30% from. This might sound a little bit, it's not anti-trade, it's pro-farmer. I'm just going to say that. The last point I wanted to make is smallholder agriculture is a huge service economy. And what we see is different countries have developed different models to deal with this service economy. You can call it urbanization of the agricultural sector. From land, there are cases where if you want to engage young people more, they don't have to own land, but they need access to land. So how do you have policies that encourage people to actually allow land to be used by people that are in a position to use land? That is a land market that we don't tap into a lot. Then there's urbanization of tractors. That model is already there. AGRA contributed to it. It's already out there. It's working. Then there's urbanization of irrigation equipment. James Mwangi will tell you about it here. Irrigation equipment can be put on the back of a motorcycle and you irrigate for farmers for their vegetables. The last one is urbanization of post-harvest equipment. And the reason I'm saying all these things is because these are all different opportunities for jobs, and we've seen them play differently in different markets. So really, the biggest opportunity here is there are all these institutions that have this, like you said earlier, that have this capacity within them. And being able to tap into that capacity, AGRA is one of them, has huge models around technologies that are available to farmers today that can be tapped into, and again has huge knowledge around what's happening in different countries that can be shared by the government of Kenya.
Yeah, very well, Dr. Kalibata, and maybe just give us an example at a regional level, maybe AU level, an initiative or a policy that really has worked and where we can draw lessons from.
One policy that immediately comes to my mind is the food balance sheet that AGRA is implementing across a number of countries in Eastern and Southern Africa. The reason the food balance sheet is important, you can't hear me? Okay. So the reason the food balance sheet is important is countries need to know how much food they have in their borders before they put export bans. And sometimes the private sector wants export bans for their own reasons. If you have export bans, food collapses, they buy it cheaper, and of course, at the end of the day, the farmer suffers. So the only way to avoid those type of problems is to ensure that we have visibility and transparency in food markets, number one, but also availability of food across different borders. That allows you to be able to manage how your country is dealing with the food problem. So the food balance sheet in the East African region helps different countries have a sense of how much food they have within their borders, but also how much food exists in other countries. That is to promote regional food trade. So you can comfortably trade with Tanzania, and Tanzania can comfortably trade with you without worry of that they are going to lose food. So this is something that is beginning to come in and really becoming very useful, but also East African harmonization of protocols around input systems. Seed systems are now traded across regions based on those harmonization practices and traceability practices that have been put in place. So again, AGRA has all this information, but also tools to help you get this work done. So if you don't do food export bans, or rather, if you do export bans, that's how quickly you kill the agricultural sector. It's extremely sensitive to transparency. It's extremely sensitive to the private sector is extremely sensitive to predictability. So if we don't allow this to be part of how we do business, then it becomes extremely difficult to manage the sector.
Thank you so much. So far, so good. And Your Excellency, Deputy Ambassador Alexander, we've seen that development partners called upon to really be part of this, and they've been part of this initiative. They play a key role. So to what extent does this particular initiative, NISIP, speak to the priorities of development partners?
Well, thank you, first of all, for being invited to this very crucial event. And the agricultural sector for Kenya plays a vital role. About 75% of the rural population are dependent on the agricultural sector. So it's a big issue for development, for the well-being of the people. But it's also something that has to do with trade between Kenya and the European Union. European Partnership Agreement has been signed last year. That's a trade agreement between Kenya and the European Union that allows tariff-free access of all Kenyan products to the European market, a market of over 500 million consumers. So that is a big chance for Kenya, and so we see a big potential for development in this plan, but in the agricultural sector as a whole, and. There are many components in it. It's irrigation. It's also digitalization of the agricultural sector that can help to have a certain level of quality and a certain standard that is also necessary to access foreign market with agricultural products. And we are here to support Kenya. For the past 20 years, by the way, we have been active in the agricultural and in the irrigation sector.
And in terms of policy formulation, we've discussed quite a lot, technical assistance, aligning with technology. So how can development partners go deeper into these areas in order to empower farmers?
Well, I think that development partners have a very specific role. They will not be able to finance all the investments that are necessary in the country. But what they can do is they can set up patterns together with the private sector. We did that with the Equity Bank. James Mwangi has mentioned that, and also with the World Bank. That shows that it can work if private public partnerships find together and look into the sector, invest into the sector, that this can be profitable for all sides. And that's the role of the development partners. Set up patterns that can then be taken over by others, mitigate risks that are there, and look into possibility how it can work.
Mr. Saroj Kumar, now it's your turn as we come to the last panelist. Again, from your perspective, what's the role of development partners, especially in terms of financing, and what's the way forward?
Thank you, Alex. And first of all, I want to begin by commending the government of Kenya and Cabinet Secretary, Principal Secretary, and everyone who is in this effort, because I do not recall any country in this continent has put forward such an ambitious plan to improve irrigation coverage to 1.5 million hectares by 2030. I think this is really very ambitious. And I'll tell you why. Because in the last few years that I have been in this job, I've been always asking my colleagues, why is Africa doing so poorly on irrigation when they have so much water? Both surface water, rainwater, of course, and then you have groundwater. Look at Kenya. Today, your irrigated area is 3.4% of total arable land. But your ability to store water, to be able to provide water to farmers, is very low. So you really need a very ambitious plan. Africa really has to rise to the challenge. Africa can feed its own people. Africa can also feed the world. But that needs plans like this, aggressive plan to move forward. And I'll tell you why the World Bank is in it, for 3 reasons. Every dollar invested in irrigation is a dollar invested in adaptation. I see many development partners in the room, multilateral, bilaterals. Please come forward and invest in irrigation. This is 100% adaptation financing, and we should make use of all the financing which is available in our institutions to really support this effort. The second is jobs, and I think Cabinet Secretary mentioned this. Irrigation is the largest multiplier in terms of job creation, both direct and indirect. We have the numbers in terms of direct. Sometimes we really don't know how many indirect jobs are created by way of downstream industries based on agribusiness and, of course, the entire value chain of agriculture. But it is definitely it has the potential to create tremendous jobs. I was asking someone, how much is the unemployment in Kenya? I'm sure somebody has a number. But given the youth bulge in this country and the number of young people who are entering the job market, I really don't think we are creating enough jobs. So definitely, you have massive unemployment, and of course you have a lot of underemployment, where people are really not suitably employed. So this sector has the potential to really create jobs, doing everything that we can. And third point which I have not heard in this conversation so far, that irrigation actually makes life of a woman much more easier. A woman can take care of the family, support the children. As I always tell my colleagues, that when I was growing up in India as a child, I remember my mother used to wake up very early morning and she used to go walk some distance to fetch water. In families today, in rural families who depend on agriculture, the role of women is very central. When you provide irrigation, you really empower women. So I think these are the reasons why the World Bank will remain absolutely committed with the government of Kenya to implement the plan. Alex asked me a question about the plan and the role of development partners in financing the plan. For the reasons I just stated, the World Bank will, of course, would like to be a keen partner as you take the implementation of this investment plan forward. But the implementation should not be about doing traditional financing. It should really focus a lot more on innovative financing. And both from the Cabinet Secretary and also from the Group CEO of Equity, Mr. James Wenga, we heard that there are opportunities based on the pilots which have been done here in this country to go on large-scale blended financing to reach these farmers as soon as possible in this country. Lastly, focus on farmers is important. One of the reasons why all the irrigation efforts in the past in Africa and elsewhere have failed is that we have focused too much on government-led irrigation. It's become irrigation departments' irrigation programs. And those programs have really not delivered results. You will see dollars invested in those government-led irrigation programs, but when you see the performance, unfortunately, they have not delivered the results. So focus on farmers, focus on people, and what I really like about this plan is that it is essentially providing a new 5 pathways to really new paradigm in irrigation, which I would recommend all the other countries in the region to take a look at it. In fact, as I was coming to this meeting in the morning, I immediately sent a text to our colleagues whom I had met in South Africa yesterday. For the last few days, I was in South Africa with the Minister of Water and others, and this is exactly what we are discussing. The bulk water infrastructure has to be really put in place given the climate variability and change. You may have the same rainfall, but the interannual and intra-annual rainfall is going to kill the farmers. So you really got to provide adequate storage, which helps you to deal with the climate change and the variability in the hydrological cycle. So I really like everything about this plan, and we are 100% behind it.
That's not enough. Let's give another round of clap to our panelists. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was quite insightful. We've had various perspectives, a regional perspective from Dr. Kalibata. Thank you so much. Waziri on government policy, thank you so much. Governor Lomurkai, the role of counties, thank you so much. Dr. James Mwangi, the role of the financial sector, thank you so much. Balozi Alexander, thank you so much, the role of development partners. In the interest of time, ladies and gentlemen, we will be winding up, and I would like to invite each of the panelists to give their winding remarks, a parting shot, and let's make it 30 to 45 seconds. 30 to 45 seconds. I know who will do 45 seconds. Let me begin with Saroj. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So my parting word is I would use an acronym which our team has put forward. It's called RISE, R-I-S-E, RISE, which is Resilient Irrigation for Sustainable Economy. Inspired by Kenya's vision, our team had put forward a regional initiative so that all countries in Africa really put forward an ambitious plan. And I think I would really like to see Kenya to be a leader in that effort. And you should be the first one to join Resilient Irrigation for Sustainable Economy effort. Thank you.
Yeah. Dr. Kalibata.
With 3% of agricultural land under irrigation, there's no way anywhere Africa can feed itself, there's no way Kenya can feed itself. So this effort is one of the biggest steps in the right direction.
Wow, that was 15 seconds. Dr. James Mwangi.
As Dr. Kalibata said, agriculture contributes 30% of our GDP, 75% of livelihoods for the entire country. But when you look at financing, for a long time it has been at 3%. I want to appeal to the government, our development partners, the Bretton Woods institutions. If we could work together instead of working parallel to each other, and we build blended finance, we could be able to increase our financing as the financial sector to 30% of our entire loan book being in agriculture. The working with KFW, AGRA, IFAD has helped us to increase our funding as equity from 3% to 16%. So let's work together and support the farmers who are providing food security.
Okay, thank you so much. Alexander?
Let me widen a little bit the spec for a second. There's a lot of change currently on a global level. Trade flows change, alliances change, and so on. And Africa has really the chance to be the food basket of the world and a very close trade partner of Europe. And I think that's the big chance that is behind all this this action plan and all the discussions that we have. There's really a big chance of becoming wealthy. And it has been mentioned before, the two groups that can benefit most of it and that are the backbone, that's the youth and the women. And if I look into our round, I must say I contribute very much to the disbalance because we have only one woman in our round and the rest are men. But I think it's important to involve women and youth in these discussions as well. Thank you.
Great. Let's clap for... Now, next is Governor Lomurkai. Give us your parting shot.
Okay, thank you. To my good friend CS, I think Turkana County is the largest county in Turkana, in Kenya. I think if you inject a lot of money into irrigation activities in our land, because Turkana County is 3 times the size of Rwanda. So you have enough land to produce food for all Kenyans. And number two, to the crowd. I think Turkana is the home of humanity. And now that I'm the governor of all humanity, then you need to bring all the investors to Turkana County. Thank you.
That's a nice one. Thank you. Finally, Waziri.
Thank you so much. First, I will appreciate the support from the development partners, World Bank and KFW. I will also appreciate the support from private investors, Dr. James Mwangi, and your call for working as a team, working together. And then I will also applaud the ministry because we are the first, as per Kumar's remark, to develop such an ambitious target. We lead, others follow, correct? And then I will sum it up by saying the wise words from Dr. Kalibata. We have a big potential to actually become a food basket for the entire world. But this has to be deliberate, and NISIP is the first step in being deliberate. We then have to put effort in water harvesting and storage, and then develop infrastructure for conveyance, for irrigation to happen. The food chain that transcends that is where we create jobs for our young people, empower our women, and develop and grow our economy as a country. Thank you so much. Asanteni sana.
Makofi tena kwa all the panelists. Wow, that was quite insightful, very, very interesting and participatory. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your contribution. And before we move to the next stage, ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a photo session. So the photographers, dear panelists, can step in front so that we get a group photo.
Of the pyramid dependent on agriculture. Indeed, agriculture is the foundation of the economy of Kenya, contributing a half of Kenya's GDP, both directly and indirectly, and paramount, achieving food security and dominating our export earnings. Appreciating that our country is predominantly arid and characterized by erratic and unreliable rainfall patterns, I beg your pardon. Appreciating that our country is predominantly arid and semi-arid and characterized by erratic and unreliable rainfall patterns shown by the prevailing climate change scenarios, irrigation therefore becomes the most important intervention to drive productivity in the agricultural sector. To date, ladies and gentlemen, only 747,000 acres out of the total potential of 3.5 million acres, and that is around 21.3% of total potential and 5% of total arable land. It is for this reason this government is very deliberate in revolutionizing irrigation. Towards this, my ministry has formulated what we are launching here today, the National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an integrated, NISIP is an integrated programmatic approach that is systematically defines and prioritizes different types of irrigation interventions, thereby ensuring coherence, continuity, and effectiveness in implementation using multiple sources of funds and coordinating the players in the sector. The goal of National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan is to revolutionize irrigation by establishing and operationalizing a robust, coordinated investment and financing plan for the irrigation sector. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we launch NISIP, this government has been able to make significant progress in driving the irrigation agenda. Some of the achievements include the Galana project, where private investors are on board to develop Galana Dam, and infrastructure to support production on 200,000 acres. These will contribute significantly towards production of maize, with a project of 7 million bags annually on completion. Completion of the gravity supply system for Bura irrigation scheme to facilitate reliable irrigation water supply for 15,000 acres for the Bura farmers, and facilitate uptake of more than 100,000 acres by private investors to produce rice and sugarcane. Thirdly, the Lower Nzoia irrigation project, straddling Siaya and Busia counties, will bring into production 10,000 acres to produce an additional 56,000 metric tons of paid rice. This and other various community-based irrigation projects that are spread across the country. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan, therefore, the government has a structured approach towards putting more area under irrigation, drive performance and productivity, as well as continue building resilience of communities against the effects of climate change. The plan has also elucidated a pragmatic framework of attracting private sector investments into the irrigation space by creating numerous opportunities for irrigation technology providers, aggregators, local banks, and microfinance institutions, and under public-private partnerships framework, large commercial investors and managers. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the investment plan's pragmatic framework comprises of 5 complementary development pathways. The pathways have been carefully identified and, when fully actualized, shall lead to accelerated irrigation development. These pathways include investment in grassroots farmers through the farmer-led irrigation development plan, what we are calling FLEED, improvement of performance of public schemes through governance, management, and modernization, promotion of commercially oriented irrigated farming undertaken by private parties, and revitalizing of irrigation in ASALs through provision of water and maximizing community irrigation scheme benefits. Ladies and gentlemen, these pathways will put an additional 1 million acres under irrigation and optimize utilization in the next 10 years. A projected total cost of Kenya shillings 598 billion shall be required to achieve these targets, with 61% coming from the private sector and 39% of this coming from public funding. The pathways have been formulated for maximum leverage on private capital mobilization through incentives and enabling regulatory actions. A range of funding sources has been described, and the best suited financing options for each pathway, including the public, the private, mixed, and innovative sources identified. It is projected that on full realization of the NISI plan, the irrigated land will generate annual revenue estimated at Kenya shillings 240 billion, support over 700,000 heads of cattle, create over 5 million jobs directly and indirectly, and reduce the country's import deficit. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, over the last 5 years, the government has put in place the requisite legal, policy, and regulatory environment to enable accelerated irrigation development and to address the ever-increasing national food requirements amidst challenges such as climate change. This has been informed by a sharp focus on the Kenya Vision 2030, the National Irrigation Policy, the National Irrigation Policy of 2017, and the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. The challenges hindering the sector from realizing a full contribution to the economic call for a coordinated multi-sectoral response. These challenges include limited investment and access to finance, limited participation of key sector actors, inadequate designs and planning, enforcement of water sharing arrangements, and challenges that are changing climatic conditions. In this respect, ladies and gentlemen, I am delighted to be here today to preside over the launch of the National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan. This investment plan is a significant step in actualizing our vision for irrigation over the next 10 years. Indeed, irrigation farming is highly profitable relative to investment costs, particularly where there is access to water. The current government is confident that investment in NISIP pathways will be the fastest and the most cost-effective way to achieve its priority agricultural water development and related socio-economic goals under the coordination of the sector by the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation in collaboration with the county government. Lastly, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank our development partners here today, and especially the World Bank for the continued support in irrigation development, the PS State Department of Irrigation, being part of the ministry, the National Irrigation Authority, and the National Water Harvesting and Storage Authority, the ministry officials, the private sector players, farmers, and all other stakeholders who contributed in making the formation of this plan a success. It is my honor, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, today to declare that the National Irrigation Sector Investment Plan is officially launched. God bless you all, and asanteni sana for a great and successful event. Tunashukuru sana.
Thank you so much. Tumpigie waziri tena makofi. Asante. Thank you, and the champion, as we launch this, His Excellency, the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, has been, visiting various parts of the country, and as we speak, he's visiting central Kenya. So he's been a key voice in driving this, in championing this. So before we do the physical launch here, which will be very colorful, allow us to play a short video so that we can hear the voice of the champion. This is just about 1 minute. Let's go.
Irrigation is a singular transformative intervention that will liberate agricultural productivity from low and erratic rainfall patterns and enable farmers to be in active production throughout the year. And that is the reason why we have a comprehensive government program to ensure that we harvest and store water in dams, in micro dams, in ponds, and a comprehensive program is being undertaken by the Ministry of Water and Irrigation and working with the private sector under the PPP program to ensure that we increase the land under irrigation.
Hii wazo serikali imekuja nalo la kutolea maji kwa kweli ni wazo zuri.
Kabla hii maji ikuje ilikuwa kiangazi, hatukuwa na mahali pa kuchota maji. Saa hizi hatuna shida. Mvua hii inyeshe ama isinyeshe, tunalima.
Sisi kama wakulima wa hapa kwa Mavoro tunamshukuru rais wetu kwa kutuletea mradi huu wa Benes. Wakati ule kabla hatujachimbiwa hii damu, mfugo ilikuwa unapata maji kutoka mbali sana.
Ukulima wa mchele na Moi Irrigation Scheme imetusaidia sana. Ukiwa na shamba kama hili, unaweza ajiri wanarika wenzangu ambao hawalimi. So the moment you support mchele, pia una support mwana youth na pia mama na mtoto.
Ukisaidia mkulima na maji kama vile rais ametusaidia huku, tunasaidia nchi yote.
right, a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That is what NISIP is going to do. So, cometh the hour, cometh the moment. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? No, you guys seem to ready. Are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? I love that. I love that. So, what I'm going to do right now, I will request Bwana CS, together with the other panelists, to come and make their way to the front as we're about to launch the NISIP plan. So, Kayamba, are you ready? Amazing. Delegates, are you ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Amazing, amazing. So we're just about to do it. This has been a long time coming. And finally we are here. So you will just step forward and then you'll just press on. We'll do a countdown. Okay. All right, all right, all right. We're good to go. We're just about to begin. Everyone get to your position. Get to your positions. Okay, okay. We'll do a 3, 2, 1 countdown and we will now jubilate. Na shangwe, na vigelegele. So, ladies and gentlemen, in 3, 2, 1. NISIP is now live. Wapi shangwe na deremo. Ambi muloremo kusundangalizeba. Abaduvo. Ambi muloremo kusundangalizeba. Abaduvo. Ambi muloremo kusundangalizeba. Amazing. Congratulations, Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Sanitation. Congratulations, State Department for Irrigation. Congratulations, Kenya. Wow. Wow. Finally, we're going to have a quick photo session before you leave. Can we have the panelists to the front? Panelists, do not take your seats. Just move forward a bit for a quick photo session. Just move forward a bit. For a photo session with various stakeholders. Can we have the next? Can we have the next? More photos, please. Can we have all the panelists? All the panelists? All the panelists? All the panelists kindly move forward for a photo session. All panelists, Daktari. Bwana PS, we request. Kindly, let's display the book. Let's display the book. Can we display the book? Lovely.
Hey, hey, hi, hey, 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 hi, hey, 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 hi, hey, 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 hey.
Okay, now we would want a photo session with some of the farmers. Farmers kindly, farmers. Wakulima wa scheme, farmers. Farmers, kindly make your way to the front. Quickly, let's hasten our steps a bit. Okay, farmers, let's make our way quickly. Let's hasten our steps just a bit. Yes, we are seeing Bona PS is showing us a bit of how to shake 1, 2. To the other panelists, you can also join the dance. You can also join the dancing. It is a celebration. Mr. James Mwangi. Great. Now finally, can I get the NISIP task force? The NISIP task force. If you are part of the NISIP task force, kindly make your way to the front. Finally, the NISIP task force. NISIP task force, NISIP task force. NISIP task force, NISIP task force. NISIP task force. Members of the NISIP task force.
Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda daima. Tushangilie Kenya, taifa letu tukufu, Kenya tunayoipenda daima. Kenya yetu tunayoipenda daima. Wajivunia sana tukijiita wa Kenya, nchi yenye baraka.
Everybody, let's stand up. Let's stand up. Yes. Wow. Aya, endeleeni kuimba kidogo.
Tunaendelea. Joji hapo hapo.
Now,
yetu tunayoipenda. Twajivunia sana.
While we are standing, Michael, first officer, a quick one, just a quick recognition of our guess who came in as we were going on? A quick one. Remain standing, and there is lunch for our guests, our invited guests, so you'll be guided. So we've not finished, just remain standing for a while, then we'll finish with a word of prayer.
Great, great. Ladies and gentlemen, now we would just like to take this moment to recognize a few individuals who we had with us here today. Can we put our hands together for the CEC for Kitui County? Round of applause. CEC Kitui County. Can you also appreciate the CEC Wajir County, CEC Siaya County, CEC Kisumu County, and the Director for Agriculture for Marsabit. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much, and we have come to the end. Remember, the meal cards will be given at the back, so make sure to pick your meal cards before you head for lunch. And remember, there is an exhibition that is currently happening, so be sure to pass by the exhibition and see the various exhibitors who we have with us. So before we hand over...
As you've been told, remember to pick your meal card, and kilicho na mwanzo hakikosi kuwa na mwisho. It's been a smooth flight, is it? And we thank the first officer. He's done a great job. You know, first officers do much more than the captain. So I have been your captain, Alex Chamwada, and this flight has been 2 hours without turbulence, and we've been live on NTV. So coincidentally, our time of live coming to an end, it's coming at the right time, and we really appreciate your attentiveness. You've been very, very attentive, and it's been a smooth flight. Many thanks for coming. We will wind up with a word of prayer. After the word of prayer, we are free to break. So, nitaomba sasa,
Hello, can we have the presence of Engineer Onyango to lead us in a word of prayer? Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
So we need to, the photo session and interactions, let's remain standing as we wind up with this prayer. Thank you so much.
So let's all believe for a word of prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we want to thank you. We started this session with a word of prayer, seeking your guidance, your wisdom, and your strength and health. Lord, you've given us all. And we also thank you, my Father, for the success of this event. But we also pray that as we go, Lord, our nation, the staff, Lord, the partners, oh God, will all come together to bring to fruition the discussions that we've had and the plans that we've put in this sector plan, Lord. I pray that, my Father, you'll give each one of us impetus and zeal and health, oh my Father, to be able to work through to this goal, to the glory of your name. Lord, I want to thank you and honor you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
So we can now disembark from the plane. Kayamba, mnaweza kuendelea as we disembark. Thank you.
Stay in the game with SportOn. Catch exclusive interviews with top sports personalities on the interviews of the day.
to smile and enjoy running.
Updates on happenings in different sports fields across Kenya and around the world. And trending moments on the timeline. Relive the action with our recap of the weekend. And don't forget the shot of the weekend. Highlighting the most epic play. Sport On, your weekly dose of sports entertainment. Every Monday night at 9:30 p.m. on NTV.
From the small business owner to the next big industry leader, SMEs are the heartbeat of Kenya's economy. Join us at the 6th edition of the SMEs Conference and Expo as we fuel innovation, resilience, and economic growth.